Let me ask you something before we talk about Haki, before we talk about power scaling, and before we even talk about the final war. Why does Sanji suddenly feel out of place? Because when you look at the final saga, when you look at Imu, the Holy Knights, the Gorosei, and the kind of enemies Oda is putting on the board, something about Sanji doesn't add up anymore. Luffy has Conqueror's Haki. Zoro has Conqueror's Haki. The final enemies are literally designed to be countered by Conqueror's Haki. And then there's Sanji, one of the wings of the Pirate King, standing in the middle of all of this, without it. So what's going on here? Is Sanji being left behind? Or is Oda deliberately hiding something? Because if Sanji does not awaken Conqueror's Haki, then he fundamentally cannot fight the enemies Oda is setting up for him. And Oda does not sideline Sanji. Chapter 1170 quietly changed everything. Scopper Gaban tells us that anyone who has formed a pact with Imu is weak to Conqueror's Haki, which is perfect thematically, because Conqueror's Haki represents will, freedom, refusal to kneel, while a pact with Imu is the total surrender of those things. But here's the problem nobody is talking about. If Conqueror's Haki is required to fight the Holy Knights, the Gorosei, and Imu, then most of the Straw Hats are locked out of the final battlefield. And Sanji cannot be one of them. And it gets worse, because even Shanks and Gaban, both Conqueror's users, couldn't overpower a deep-sea covenanted herald. Meaning Conqueror's Haki doesn't guarantee victory, but not having it guarantees defeat. So ask yourself this, why would Oda ever put Sanji in a war where he can't win? This is where chapter 1152 becomes dangerous. Gaban says, "Seems like there's more than one of you with Supreme King Haki." And Oda does not frame that line around Zoro alone. Sanji is standing right there. Gaban addresses Zoro because Inma turned his Conqueror's Haki into a leaking tap, but addressing the loud one does not mean the quiet one doesn't exist. Then Sanji asks the question, do I have it too? The answer happens off screen, and Sanji makes that face. Is it a joke, or is it realization? Oda does not draw faces like that by accident. Conqueror's Haki is the power of someone with the qualities of a king, and Sanji was literally born a prince. Depending on Germa succession, he could have been king, but instead, he ran. From power, from authority, from destiny. And that might be exactly why his Conqueror's Haki hasn't surfaced yet. Quick pause. If you're still watching, you already know this isn't a surface level Sanji video. So hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments right now. Do you think Sanji will awaken Conqueror's Haki? Or is Oda planning something even crazier? Because from here on out, it only gets more obvious. Sanji doesn't seek leadership. Leadership seeks Sanji. On Saba Odi, Luffy splits the crew and places Zoro and Sanji in charge. On Zou, Sanji leads a crew that literally names itself the Twirly Hat Pirates. Chapter 810 is titled after them. That's not a gag, that's narrative positioning. Sanji even commands Marines on Punk Hazard. Authority gravitates toward him. Sanji's entire story is about denying himself. At Baratie, his enemy wasn't a villain, it was guilt. Unlike Luffy and Zoro, Sanji didn't allow himself a dream. Only after Germa, only after Queen, only after Wano did Sanji finally free himself. And freedom is the birthplace of Conqueror's Haki. Oda is screaming this parallel. Gaban was a wing of the Pirate King, competitive, emotional, love-struck. He argued he was stronger than Rayleigh. Luffy even says, "That sounds like Sanji when he's older." Oda does not write lines like that for fun. Sanji will not awaken Conqueror's Haki like Luffy. He will not awaken it like Zoro. His strength has always been emotion. Love. Observation can specialize. Armament can specialize. Why wouldn't conquerors? A supreme king fueled by empathy, by protection, by love. One holy knight believes love is humanity's weakness. Saint Summers, which makes Sanji the perfect counter. Love versus domination. Emotion versus submission. freedom versus contracts. This isn't power scaling. This is thematic justice. If Sanji awakens Conqueror's Haki, this video will age beautifully. So tell me what you think. Hit like if this changed how you see Sanji, and subscribe if you want deep Final Saga One Piece analysis like this every single week. I'll see you in the next one.